On this episode of the podcast, we take a look at the movie Adrift, directed by Baltasar, Kormákur, and written by Aaron and Jordan Kandell, starring Shailene Woodley and Sam Claflin. Welcome to He Said, She Said Movie Reviews. This is the podcast where a happily married couple with different opinions takes a quick look at the movies. I'm your host, Tim.
And I'm April.
So we're fresh back from seeing Adrift. The previews we saw for this movie, the first one was Mile 22. This is a new Mark Wahlberg movie with Ronda Rousey and a few other people, John Malkovich, and it's a gunslinging spy movie, anti-terrorist movie, lots of explosions, car chase, gun battles, you name it. This will be a pure guys flick.
Well, now I wouldn't say that. I'm sure there are plenty of women that are going to want to see Mark in his prime. The second trailer we saw tonight was Peppermint with Jennifer Gardner. Basically, someone kills her family in the cartel. She comes back a few years later, and believe me, I am positive she gets payback. She's a great action actress as well from Alias. Most people know her. I loved her in 13 Going on 30. It's a classic movie as well as one of my daughter's favorites as well. She was also in Juno, very talented, and just I always enjoyed her as an actress.
The next preview we saw was for Crazy Rich Asians. Mm-hmm. I'm actually really excited to see this movie. There's been very few Asian American or / Asian films that come out that are not martial arts movies. And I'm excited to see this. It looks really good. It's about an Asian American woman, I believe, who falls in love with this guy from Singapore, and he takes her back to meet his family. And it turns out that his family is like one of the richest families in Singapore.
It looks so humorous, though, with all the different cast members and just the chemistry of the couple. I like the fact that they're dealing with his mother and his family. They have to overcome some obstacles, but true love always does, so.
And apparently this is based off of the book of the same title. And the final trailer we saw was for a movie called Indivisible. This is another Iraq / Afghanistan war movie, but it centers around a chaplain with a unit. It has a bunch of people in it that I didn't recognize in the trailer, but the trailer looks really good, and I'm planning on seeing this one.
Oh, I think it looks fantastic. A different viewpoint of what goes on in war from someone else's viewpoint, particularly the chaplain.
Yeah, it should be very interesting. All right, so the movie we saw tonight was Adrift. This is a true story of Tammy Oldham and Richard Sharp. They are in the process of taking a boat, a sailing yacht from Tahiti back to San Diego when they run into a Class 4 hurricane, Richard or Raymond, I can't remember which. And these actual events happened during the months of September, October, and November of 1983. And the movie takes them through where they first meet and fall in love and through everything that happens during and after the storm. It is a movie directed by Baltasar, Kormákur, and he gave us The Deep, Two Guns, Everest, and he directed several episodes of the TV series Trapped, which April and I happen to really love. And it's written by Aaron Kandell and Jordan Kandell, and this is their second writing task. Their first one was the Disney movie Moana.
Yes, and I remember this story, the true story of Adrift, because that was the year Tim and I met. We were in college in California, and there was a lot of coverage on it. But to see this movie, I'm really glad I did. I enjoyed it for several reasons. One, knowing it was a true story going in, but what a strong woman to hang in there and make a decision to basically have the will to live, but to use her mind, and how physically strong she had to stay through that.
I thought the movie was very well acted. I certainly felt the chemistry between Shailene Woodley and Sam Claflin. The two main stars, Shailene is from the Divergent series and The Fault of Our Stars.
Right.
And Sam is from mainly the Hunger Games trilogy or quadrilogy and Me Before You. I really enjoyed the interaction between them. The movie it's built around flashbacks, so you start after the storm, but the movie then uses flashbacks to bring you up to that present time.
Right. And I normally don't like that in movies, but I actually thought they did a great job, the timing of them. There was never any question of when it happened, which I really appreciate. But I thought they did a great job in that. And I also thought everything was believable, from the sounds to just the color of the sunrise, the sunset. I mean, on the ocean, everything was good. I thought it went on a little long.
Oh, absolutely. To me, it definitely had some slow parts. I thought it could have been sped up a little bit. But then again, I think the slow parts, they did tell a complete story with the movie. The slow parts did add to that story. So I don't know how you could have done it differently.
Yeah, I thought that, I agree with you on the chemistry and just how much fun they had together and their adventurous spirits. I was trying to think what else, about the movie. It's a little late tonight. Many people, that I've talked to in my life have that dream of sailing around the world. And I did think the movie, it showed you so many different parts of kind of everything from when they eat, how they eat, how they basically survive on such a small boat for that long. So I found that to be interesting.
Yeah, to me, after watching the movie, I would have absolutely zero desire to sail around the world. I'd certainly like to go out sailing and sail around a bunch of islands, but open sea sailing, yeah, that's not for me, especially during storm season.
Yeah, you just need to hope, since you're one of your daughter's best friends, that's his dream. Let's hope she doesn't hop on board.
The interesting thing is the fact that this did happen in September. Apparently, it happened 3 weeks into their 4,000-mile trip, and it started in September, which is really the tail end of hurricane season. So they got caught at the end. So
right. And also too, something else I loved, other than obviously watching such a strong woman's character, is I also loved at the very end, it talked about how she still loves to sail. So there you go.
Absolutely. I don't think you really need to see this movie in the theater. I don't think the theater adds much to the movie. This is certainly something you could wait for on any of the small screen stuff. I certainly would give it a solid 3.5, maybe 4 stars. The 4s is pushing it, but I think it was a 3.5. I did enjoy it. I was entertained.
And I actually disagree with Tim. I would say see it at the movies, and I'll tell you why. Just me sitting there, I felt like I was in the middle of the boat. And I think that that's hard to do sometimes when you're at home, if you will. So I enjoyed the movie. I'm going to give it a 3.5 as well, just because a few parts were a little slow.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight. If you haven't already, please go out to hesaidshesAidmovies.com/subscribe and subscribe to the podcast. You can also go to the bottom of any one of the pages and click on our social media links. We'd love to have you follow us on Twitter, and that is at HeSaidSheSaidMO.
Thank you, everybody. And I just want to say a special thank you for all the positive feedback we've gotten. We feel like this journey just started, and it's just absolutely cobalting, if you will.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you at the movies.
Bye-bye now.